Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Live Ones. Happy Halloween. Yesterday certainly didn't disappoint, did it? This season of college football was officially crazier than 2007, which is the gold standard of crazy for college football. Number 6, Michigan goes down to a lower ranked team. Number 9, Iowa goes down to an unranked team. Number 10, Ole Miss goes down. Number 12, Kentucky goes down to an unranked team. Number 17, Pittsburgh goes down to an unranked team. Number 19, SMU goes down to an unranked team. Number 1, San Diego State goes down to an unranked team. Number 22, Iowa State goes down to an unranked team. And number 25, BYU gave up 42 points in the first half at home. In 2007, 33 ranked opponents were beaten by unranked ones. We've shattered that record, and there are still 5 weeks of the season to go. Craziest college football season ever. The unbeatens remaining: Georgia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Michigan State, Wake Forest, and freaking UTSA, the Roadrunners. Man, I'll tell you what, probably the best season they've ever had, honestly. I don't think Oklahoma finishes the season undefeated. Any of their remaining 3 opponents could realistically beat them. Georgia, it's going to depend on whether they play Alabama or Auburn in the SEC title game. You cannot realistically leave Cincinnati out of the playoffs if they run the table. That Michigan State-Ohio State game in 3 weeks is suddenly enormous. With Pittsburgh getting its second loss, Wake Forest could run the table, go 13-0, be the ACC champion, and be the first team left out of the playoffs to a potential 2-loss SEC champion if everything shakes out that way, which will be a travesty, but it's happened before. Personally, if I were making the playoffs today, it would be Georgia, Cincinnati, whoever the Big Ten champion is, and Oregon. But there's still 5 weeks left to the season, plus the conference title games. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if there are no undefeateds left except Cincinnati when everything has shaken out. Anyways, with the insanity of yesterday, we went 5-5 on our 10 plays. Those 2 losses in the 12 o'clock games were just brutal. I couldn't believe what happened to Iowa and its defense there. BYU's non-existent defense more than made up for Virginia having to travel into the Rocky Mountains. 35 points in the second quarter they gave up. Just pathetic. Anyways, we're essentially 500 for the week up to this point for a small loss. Hopefully a good Sunday here with NFL, NBA, and NHL will close us out in positive territory. Let's get right to it with the NFL, and first game I'm looking at today is the Eagles and the Lions, and as a diehard Philadelphia sports fan, this one hurts me. But between these two really bad teams, I genuinely, sincerely think the Lions are the more cohesive team of the two. Detroit hasn't played that bad at home this season. Their games against San Francisco and Baltimore were very close losses where the breaks just didn't go their way. 2 of their 7 losses have come on last-second field goals. The Lions are 4-3 against the spread. I mean, generally speaking, they're not getting blown out in most of their losses. It's just a talent differential. They don't have the people to execute their plan. They clearly have an identity as a team. They know what it is that they want to be. But the Eagles' identity under Nick Sirianni is that of an amorphous, lifeless blob. Their playbook on both sides of the ball is like if you took a generic template of a football playbook and made it your actual playbook. It's as vanilla gets, and Nick Sirianni is out there giving gardening metaphors as far as what's going on with the season. To say the least, they have no one to execute the plan that they do have. Miles Sanders was their best offensive weapon, and now he's out indefinitely. Lane Johnson and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside are both questionable. Landon Dickerson and Javon Hargrave are battling injuries. Their quarterback Jalen Hurts has a QBR that puts him in the bottom 7 of NFL starters, just above Trevor Lawrence. I honestly think of all the games on the Lions' schedule, this is the one that they have the best chance to win and avoid going 0-16. I wouldn't be mad at you if you put some action on the Lions plus 3.5 spread at home here. The Eagles have no business being road favorites against anyone right now, including the Lions. This could be the rock bottom of their season, frankly. But for sure, I think the best play on this game today is the under 48.5 points. I doubt either offense is going to get much of anything going today, just based on what I've seen from both of these teams so far. Okay, so then moving on to the Steelers and the Browns. Pittsburgh started off 1-3 with an anemic, lifeless offense, and then looked like they had righted the ship a bit against the Broncos, and with a great overtime win against the Seahawks. And then they had a perfectly timed bye week to heal up some nagging injuries, specifically Big Ben with his pec injury and Chase Claypool with his hamstring. Both of these guys were active all week during practices, and reports out of Pittsburgh was that everyone was practicing with a lot more pep in their step. Cleveland, meanwhile, is still a giant medical ward. Baker Mayfield was cleared to return after a second opinion from his shoulder injury, but he is still playing with a shoulder fracture and a torn labrum in his throwing arm, so I highly doubt he's going to be 100%. Nick Chubb and Jarvis Landry are both listed as probable, but both guys have had injuries nagging at them all year. Odell Beckham probably isn't going to play. Jadeveon Clowney and A.J. Green are both questionable. Browns have lost 2 out of their last 3. Basically, these are 2 teams headed in different directions right now. Now, to mention the short road dog factor. Road dogs of under a touchdown have dominated the NFL this year. 30-12 against the spread, covering the spread by an average of a touchdown. These road dogs have been overachieving all year. The books and the bettors alike are starting to notice, and the line openings and movements are reflecting that. You can see the Patriots-Chargers game this week, for instance, started off as Patriots plus 6.5. Now it's all the way down to Patriots plus 4. But this line has defied the typical movement. It opened up at Steelers plus 3 and has moved a full point in the Browns' favor, I guess, with Baker Mayfield getting cleared. I like the short road dog factor. I think the Steelers have got a puncher's chance of winning the game outright today, but give me Pittsburgh plus 4. That's going to be my play today. So that's it for the NFL. There's just not a whole lot of profitable angles on the board today. Not a whole lot of games I'm interested in watching. So we're going to move over to the NHL and the Hurricanes and the Coyotes. And in a Coyote season that's going to be absolutely mired in mismatches, this one stands out as a bad one. Arizona has yet to win a game. They've lost their first 8, 7 of them in regulation. Could they break the Sabres record of 18 to start the season that they set last year? Entirely possible. I thought that Sabres record would last forever, but this Coyotes team is bad. Arizona has the worst goal differential in the sport, having been outscored 36-12 thus far. Most of that is on their penalty kill unit. They've allowed goals on almost half of their opposing team's power plays. The Hurricanes are closing out a 4-game homestand where they've outscored the Maple Leafs, Bruins, and Blackhawks a combined 13-4. The Hurricanes lead the league in goals against and goal differential and have the 5th best power play percentage in the NHL. Goalie Frederik Andersen is 2nd in the NHL in GAA and save percentage. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that the Hurricanes are going to both light up the scoreboard today and keep the Coyotes off of it. So give me Carolina on the puck line at -1.5 at -130. If you want the better chalk, there's an alternate puck line at FanDuel of -2.5 goals for +126. That's just not enough of a difference in the chalk for me to take that whole extra goal. So -1.5 goals is my play for the home team here. All right, so over to the NBA and the short slate of games today, but the one that I'm looking at is the Jazz and the Bucks. Man, thank you NBA schedulers on this real short off season. But I kind of wish we were getting this game with everybody fresh, rested, and 100% because this could be this on paper is a great game. Instead, both the Jazz and the Bucks are coming off a back-to-back. The Jazz are playing their 3rd game in 4 nights, and of course, both teams are shorthanded with some injuries and some load management. Rudy Gay and Mike Conley are both listed as questionable for the Jazz. Drew Holiday has been ruled out, and Brook Lopez likely won't play for the Bucks. Still dealing with that back issue. The Bucks basically had no offseason. The finals were over on July 20th. The parade was on the 23rd. Training camp started on September 13th. That is a 7-week turnaround. Just brutal. It's no small wonder that they're getting off to the slow, unsteady start that they are. Their points per game is about 10 lower than last season's average. Their shooting percentage is way off. This is a team that is definitely having a championship hangover. The Jazz's defense has come on strong to start the season. They've kept the total under in 4 out of the last 5 games. This 224.5 total just seems way out of reach given all the factors coming into today. Take the under here, under 224.5. So that is my 4th and final play for this Sunday. Everyone bet safe, stay safe. Follow us on Twitter at Live One Sports. Check us out on Roku and Fire TV at the Live Ones. Enjoy your Sunday, and we will see you tomorrow.